This is Relationship Talks with Rick and Namon. I'm Rick.
And I am the DJ Blue.
And he's Namon.
I am the DJ Blue.
So Namon,
what's up?
Every now and then we have those situations where we may find someone that's pretty good for us.
Okay.
But for one reason or
like
another.
For what? Like, what do you mean?
They're good for us. Like, it's somebody that fits us well, somebody that we can see ourselves with.
Okay.
But for one reason or another, we just can't commit to them.
What do you... I was so confused here. Where is this going? Is this a question? Are you talking about somebody in particular? What's happening here?
So, Namon.
What?
Have you ever dealt with commitment issues?
I'm starting to feel a little bit attacked. Who have you been talking to? It sounds like you've been talking to someone, and I don't really like the way this is going. I figured that let's talk about your commitment issues, Richard.
I've definitely had commitment issues myself.
Yeah, we know.
And I think
We've seen it.
I think about the times that I have had commitment issues, and usually the times when I've had commitment issues is when I've had like a ton of really good options, and I wasn't quite done exploring those options, and I wasn't ready to
not sow your royal oats.
No, it's just, I guess the times that happened, it was more so, it's so much more for me to explore. I don't know if I've seen enough, and I don't know if the situation is good enough. While it is good to give up on all the other possible situations.
Oh, so you say it like that? No, I've never been in a situation like where commit. No, not like that though. I mean, that's valid though. That's not really like commitment issue, I would say.
No, you don't think so?
I would say no. I mean, you're more or less just weighing your options. I think commitment to me, like that's, if you say that, you're more or less just saying, hey, well, have you ever been in a committed situation and then, had issues with that type of commitment? And I would say more or less. Yeah. Well, and I mean, obviously, like I say, the one thing the situation I was in that was the longest situation, it wasn't that it was hard to commit. It was more or less like when you commit to being with someone and you commit to being what they want you to be. And say, for example, you're being everything they want to be, and then they think that you're lying to them. So immediately you're like, well, I'm not enjoying myself like you say I should, so maybe I should not be with you and go do my thing. You know what I mean? Like not commit and kind of, I mean, honestly, that would be the only way I would say that I've had situations with that. But any other time, I've never committed to anyone or committed to any type of situation that I didn't think that I could fully give 100% commitment to.
Yeah. Do you feel like you have commitment issues?
In most situations, yeah, I do. I mean, not in relationships. I believe that loyalty is important and honesty is important. I would say other aspects of my life, I don't like to commit my time before I know what I'm going to be doing, because there's so many things that I'd like to do, but I only have like 24 hours in a day, and sometimes that 24 hours is taken up doing something else. So, I mean, I like to have an open availability. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's not commitment though. Like, you know what I mean? Like that, not in relationships, I would say. As it pertains to relationships, no, I don't think I would have any type of commitment issues.
Yeah. Like when it comes to time, and I think relationships have a lot to do with time. You know me, like I'm willing to commit fully, but the thing that
fast and hard.
Shut up.
I'm sorry. Wait, was that recording?
Yes, it was recording. The thing that I've always been like kind of afraid of is wasting my time. Like I never want to waste my time. Like, and that's not saying like being in a relationship that doesn't get to the end goal that you want is a waste of time. Right. It's just, I don't want somebody playing with my emotions that was never ever intended to go anywhere. If we're talking about going somewhere, they never really had those intentions. Right. Or if it's an event, like I don't want to be sitting here waiting for somebody to get here when they said they would be here at a certain time. So
wait, what? So how does that have to do with commitment?
I mean, commitment, like I'm just saying, like I just don't like people wasting my time. You know what I'm saying? You feel me?
It has nothing to do with commitment, though. That's not you committing. That's the other person committing.
I mean, if I'm committing to be somewhere,
it sounds a lot deeper.
If I'm committing to be somewhere at a certain time, and somebody else is committing to be there at that same place at that time for a specific reason, If I'm committed to doing that and that person is not there, then I feel like that's a waste of time.
Of course. So yeah, that is a waste of time because you're committed to being there, but that doesn't mean you have. I'm so confused. And maybe this is just something you should be talking about to your therapist and commitment issues. Richard. I'm not quite sure.
What do you think? Where do you think these issues come from?
Honestly, I would say it's got to be something from childhood. I mean, I don't know. That's actually a really good question. If I were to ever throw out any examples of, like when I think of younger, I just remember. I mean, as far as I would say, the reason why I commit would be like being younger, seeing my mom commit to her church, seeing other people commit to their jobs the way they do, seeing other people do those things. So I don't know. I don't know when that starts, and it could start older. It could start after high school. It could start in high school. It could start at any time, but I mean, when we're kids, we don't really have commitment at all. You know, we don't have commitment. Your only job is to, do what's natural, which is go to school. There's no commitment there. So that's hard.
I mean, it is a commitment to go to school. You think about it at different ages. You
don't have a choice though.
Sometimes you do. I mean, you can commit to, even in school, like
not
even
in
if you
elementary or anything like that, you don't really have a choice to go to school.
I get what you're
saying,
gonna
be there no matter what.
Even if you are there, you can commit to actually excelling at school or at least giving your all.
I'm saying like at that age, Richard, no child is going, you know what, I'm going to go to school today. I'm going to be the best that I can be and actually be the best that they can be. You know what I mean? Like that's a mindset. That
was me in middle school. What you talking about?
But I'm saying though, it's like not a lot of people grew up as little nerds. Not a lot of people grew up like that.
There it is.
I'm saying not a lot of people grew up that way. I mean, I'm just saying. So when you get to high school and places like that, where you actually have to have like commitment, and like I said, even when like you said in middle school, who did you see commit to whatever they committed to? What was the commitment examples for you?
I think I've seen like my parents committed to each other. Parents committed to other things. School, some students committed to academics. Some students committed to sports. It's various levels of commitments that people made all over the place.
What made you decide to be committed?
I think
in your relationship now.
In my relationship now?
Yeah,
you kind of flipped it.
You see how
like I was getting ready to go and you're like, hold up, wait. In your relationship now.
Exactly. What made you decide to commit? At what point did you say, you know what, I'm gonna make a commitment?
The person that I'm dating now, we were dating for a little bit before we actually committed to being in an actual relationship. But the thing about it was, for me, honestly, in my heart, I was already committed to her.
Yeah.
When we first started kicking it, and I really
no surprise there.
What does that mean? And I really got
everybody who knows you, Richard. Everybody who knows you, Richard. Okay. And if you know, you know.
Anyway, so when I really saw what kind of person she was,
she likes me. Oh my God, I'm in love.
Stop it. That is not it. But anyway,
she has a job in all of her teeth. Oh my God, I'm in love.
If I could be allowed to finish my sentence.
Go ahead.
No, but
I'm sorry.
Like once I saw what kind of person she was and I got to know her better, it was really easy to commit because she's everything that I have been looking for and everything that I wanted. And she made me feel, it's nothing like being with somebody that makes you feel like yourself.
I have a question.
Wow,
this is gonna sound
I'm still
strange.
answering the other question that you asked.
I know, but I don't really like the way. I don't like how you finish.
Go ahead.
So I'm gonna go ahead and
interrupt.
You interrupt me all the time.
Go ahead.
We literally just had this conversation yesterday about how you interrupt the things that I say. I asked you if you were finished. Yeah, I'm finished. You don't remember that?
No.
Don't make me, Richard. Anywho, my question is, it's from what you just said. You're talking about commitment and things like that. You said she had everything that you were looking for, right? What was that you were looking for as far as like to say to you that, hey, I'm going to be committed in this relationship? What was that? What were you looking for? What particular thing, or was it multiple things?
It was multiple things, but it wasn't like, oh, she has to be this tall, she has to look like this. It was more so, I want somebody that will match my energy, someone that will be a partner to me in a relationship, someone who will communicate with me the same way that I will communicate with them, someone who helps me feel like myself. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get in relationships and you're with somebody and you don't feel like yourself when you're with them, and that's not a good thing. You know, being around her encouraged me, helped me, pushed me, made me want to be better, and we really complement each other and we elevate each other.
And
I feel
therefore
like
created the urge to commit.
I mean, so I feel like, you know, when you see something, I've seen enough and I've been in enough relationships and around enough relationships. Shut up. To know what I'm looking for in a relationship, and she checked boxes that I didn't even know that I needed checked.
Right. And that's I'm glad you said that, because look, I was gonna ask you, and that's funny. Like, how did you know you were looking for those things if you didn't even know she could provide those things that are extra? That's an interesting concept.
Yeah. So I mean, you in that particular instance, I'm in a stage of my life where I have experienced enough stuff. Like, I've dated enough women. I've
middle age, right?
Not middle age, but I've experienced enough to where I knew what I was looking for, and I was looking for the next step in my life, and I was just looking for the person to commit to, and saying that, I wasn't just looking for anybody. To the point,
man, thank God, because bro, I tell you, some of the conversations that we had in those times, I'd be like, yeah, well, you know, and then I'd be like, nah, cuz, and you'd be like, man, well, you just you're just being you're just being stupid. I'd be like, nah, cuz that ain't gonna work, bro.
I don't know what the slander is right now, but I don't like it.
Man, I'm glad you finally figured out your reasons to commit to the right person. I would say.
But what I'm saying is that, it had to be the right person for me to be willing to commit at this point. It had to be the right person, and I found the right person, you know.
Because everybody doesn't deserve that commitment.
No, and a lot of times, you know, both of us have done this. A lot of times we give our commitment to people who don't deserve that commitment.
Yeah.
And we'll be fully committed to a wrong situation. And it really feels a lot better to be fully committed to a right situation.
Right. Because it's the right path.
It's the right path. It's something that's healthy for you. A lot of times we'll commit to things that are unhealthy situations. We'll commit to unhealthy people. We'll see, like we talked about last episode, we'll see red flags and we'll commit to those. Yes, this is it. I'm going to commit to this thing, even though everything in my mind is telling me I should run away. And my friends are telling me that this ain't it, but I'm still committed to making this work.
Yes.
And I think about situations that I have been in. It's kind of like the opposite. Do I have a commitment issues? I think commitment issues comes in all shapes or forms. Like, sometimes I committed to people, just kind of like I said, that I shouldn't have been committed to.
I know that's 100% true though, because, and that's why I said that, you know, a lot of people, they don't deserve that particular commitment. And I think that each person, you know, of course, you deserve your own type of commitment, but maybe not from the particular person that you're seeking it from.
Right.
Like, they may be given the type of commitment that they're accustomed to, and then you're receiving it. However, you're not receptive because that's not the type of commitment that's for you.
Man, so
that's crazy.
I mean, think about situations where you've been, where people have been in, and myself included, in a toxic relationship. And this is going round and round in circles, and it's just, you know that it's not right. And every time you have that down, you're like, I'm committed to making this thing work. When after a certain while, you got to look at it objectively and say, like, we're not a good fit for each other.
Right.
And I should not be committed to this. So on that side, like, that's definite way of looking at commitment issues, because you can have commitment issues where you're afraid to commit and you won't commit for whatever reason. And you can have issues where you commit to things that you shouldn't, commit to wrong situations, commit to wrong people. And I feel like that might be just as bad.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think a lot with commitment comes with trust.
Trust, and I would say trust is definitely a big form. Trust and loyalty.
Yeah.
I mean, loyalty, you want to make sure that whoever you're committed to in your relationship, especially, that you can trust that they're comfortable with your commitment. Because a lot of people, you know, they don't want what they don't want what you're giving.
I mean, not only that, sometimes you can be committed to situations that aren't committed to you.
Yeah.
And
that's the worst.
that, that sounds like the ground rules for a situationship.
I'm committed to eating cheese, but
cheese
it's
ain't it's not committed to loving you, huh?
It's not committed to being sweet to me. That's for doggone sure. That's for sure.
So what are some ways you think that we can overcome some commitment issues?
What are some ways that we can overcome some commitment issues? The first thing, as always, it's going to be in the top of the list. Can you guess what it is?
What, therapy?
Communication.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's the first thing. Therapy would be second. I mean, honestly, that's a hard one because everyone has a commitment issue, or not necessarily everyone has a commitment issue, but everyone has, I would say, commitment, apprehensiveness, right?
It's a lot of S's on
Everyone's
that.
apprehensive when it comes to commitment because you're committing yourself. I mean, it's using the word, hey, you're committing yourself. You're telling this person that you're going to be pretty much everything that whatever you guys are deciding is going to be, you're going to stick to that. I mean, a lot of people have a problem doing that simply because, I mean, you're giving away pretty much all of your cards. You're giving away your vulnerability pretty more. You're giving them the vulnerability, if you will, and just releasing that from yourself. Now you're open. You can be poked. Your heart is free. You know what I mean? Your heart is on your sleeve now.
The more open you are to receive love, the more vulnerable you are to be punctured by that person.
Yeah. And I think that's a fear a lot of people have. Well, why wouldn't you? Nobody wants to be hurt. Nobody wants to be told, hey, thank you for being around me all this time and, loving me and dating me and doing all these things. But, I think I'm gonna move on. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm ready to commit anymore to whatever this is again. Like, so it's a tough pill to swallow.
I think it's so many approaches to trying to overcome commitment issues. And one of the things that I like to say is that how can I commit to someone else if I can't commit to myself? Yeah. If I can't keep a promise to myself, how can I keep a promise to someone else? Because commitment is a promise.
Yeah. It's an agreement.
Yeah. So if I'm not able to make an agreement with myself and keep that agreement, how could I keep it? How could I be true to somebody else? But I feel like, to really understand the issues that I face, for me, sometimes commitment, it wasn't that I was having a commitment issue. I just hadn't found that person that made me want to commit.
That deserved it. Exactly. To deserve your level of commitment.
And then times where I committed too quickly, I think part of that comes with...
Oh, my God. Let's count. We should do like a countdown.
It's not even that many. I don't even know what you're talking about.
I could think of one.
Don't you start singing DMX.
Two.
Man.
I got three at least.
Okay.
I got three at least on the tip of my tongue. I guarantee the terrible commitment issues, that terrible times where you committed and you shouldn't have.
Yeah, but you live and you learn. And I think from those situations, I kind of learned to be more objective. And I hate to say it because the way that I've seen the world so long is that I'm so trusting of what people say, and I take them at face value until they disprove me. And I think I'm a little bit more cautious now. So in those situations, it all ended the same way. I had to really look at
yourself,
the thing that I was committed to, and take a logical approach.
You was committed to getting that bun.
No, that's not what it was. I was really committed
to getting that bun.
That's
what it was. And
to that situation in that relationship. But I really had to take a step back and look at what I was committed to and understand whether or not that was the thing that I really wanted to be tied to and committed to, or if I needed to search for another situation. And that, I feel like that is a very valid thing, whether you're committed to a job, whether you're committed to a project or a person. I think you really have to understand what you're committing to, and if it's another person, make sure that that person is committing to you the same way that you are committing to them, or at least attempting to. Have the times that you felt like you've had commitment issues, do you feel like it was an issue that you were having, or do you feel like it was a person that you were just not sure to commit to?
See, when I was having, I would say, commitment issues, it was definitely with someone that I desperately wanted to be with and wanted to commit to. However, there were those subtle signs. There were those subtle things that I did not know because I wasn't mature enough to catch those things. That it was just like, hey, this is probably not a good idea for me. And the fact that I did have apprehensions on committing, that should have been my first what you call red flag, if you will.
Fair enough.
That should have been my first red flag. Like, hold on, like I know who I am. I know the type of person I am. If I like you, I love you. That's just basically how I am. So, if I get into a situation where, I like you and hey, I'm supposed to commit to you and I don't, then chances are I don't want to give you that particular commitment. I can give you another commitment, but I can't commit to you in that format. And in that particular situation I was in, I did not recognize that. Yes, while, hey, being respectful, I want to be loyal, I want to be faithful, I want to be committed to you, but those weren't things that she deserves from me particularly.
Man, that's a heck of a revelation.
Yeah, it is. And I would say for me, like you see a lot of things, and I always look at things because I've been using the terminology perspective, right?
I use perspective a lot. Yeah,
exactly. And like I told you, like you helped me see, like, but there's always another way. There's always another way. And looking at it through those visuals, like I'm committing to what this person wants and their needs and their wants. However, they can't commit to me because they don't have what I need. You know what I mean? Like they're the idea that I don't want to commit to them means that they do not have what I need for them to commit to me fully.
That's something to think about. So you
like
saying
that's it.
Saying that the issue is that something in you is telling you that that's not what you should be committing to.
Exactly, because we as humans, we feed, right? We give, and we want to receive that. However, I was in a situation where I wanted to give, but I definitely wasn't receiving anything that I needed. And therefore the commitment that I was giving, it left me empty. So when I went to give that type of commitment, when I went to be that particular person that they were needing, I found myself scared. I found myself, kind of really apprehensive and just not wanting to be a part of it. And therefore, hey, very distant and very, very bad, very toxic.
I think when we were talking about earlier and you asking me why I wanted to commit to the person that I'm with now, and I talked about being around her, and even my family notices that like you are yourself around her and you guys are playful together and you look like you have so much fun. Having that situation, what you kind of described, it kind of takes you from being who you are.
Right.
Those kind of situations end up making you somebody that you're not used to being. And you kind of get like lethargic and you don't do the things that you used to enjoy and you don't feel like yourself anymore. So you stop doing the stuff that you used to love, and you're not sometimes and then a lot of times in those situations you forget who you really are sometimes. And that's one of the scariest things that you could ever do in a relationship is forget who you are as an individual, because either when you're in a relationship, whether you're married or not, you have individual needs.
Yeah, anywhere. Anywhere. I mean that because the thing is, I say before you even think about committing to someone else, you need to figure out how to commit to yourself. And that means being honest to yourself, being true to yourself, being real to yourself, and being all of those things. I think that you would want to give to that person or to that particular, whatever it is, whatever you want to commit to. I think that, hey, commit to yourself first.
Yeah.
Give yourself that commitment so that you know what that feels like to be honest with you. You know what that feels like to betray yourself, betray your own love that you should have for yourself.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It definitely does start with a commitment to yourself, because if you're doing something for somebody else, a lot of times you're not really fully committed to it. You might be committed to helping them, but a lot of times you won't be as successful as you would be if you were committed to doing the thing that you were trying to accomplish. So like I'm thinking about maybe the working out every day. If you're not committed to working out and you're just doing it because somebody else wants you to do it, it's going to be a lot harder to do that.
Are you attacking me again?
No, I mean, why would I be? You trying to work out?
I feel like this whole episode you've been attacking me.
Like I just wrote this episode just to attack you. Just to attack you on the air.
We're going to talk about your commitment issues.
Gonna talk about Namon's
commitment issues.
I think that there are levels to commitment. I think there's levels to commitment, and I definitely think that you can commit to a friendship.
Yeah, and you can, absolutely.
And you can commit to being a friend, but you might not be able to commit to being a partner with someone.
I would say, I mean, I'm going to use this very specific example. I don't know if she's listening, but if she is, my barber, like I said, I would say in this situation, 100%. Look, I'm committed. Dope barber. That's my dog. Always cut my hair. Always there for me. So in that situation, totally committed to my barber. And a lot of people, and apparently this is a thing that barbers actually talk about, like when their clients go to different people. But the thing is, I didn't break my commitment because I didn't like my barber. I broke my commitment because it was convenient. You see what I'm saying? So I would say for me, I look at everything in that format. You know, if it's not the fact that, hey, you know, I didn't like it, or I didn't want that, and it just go to relationships as well. It's not the fact that I didn't like it, I didn't want it. It's just that, hey, this other situation was a little bit better for me, so therefore I had to put my commitments elsewhere.
I mean, that makes total sense. And even though you might be in a relationship with somebody, I've been in relationships before, like you have as well. Like I could commit to be somebody's boyfriend, but I couldn't commit to being their husband.
Yeah.
Or fiance.
Oh man, that's scary. Woo.
You know what I'm saying?
When you say that just gave me some PTSD right there, man.
So it's like, it's levels that you can commit. Like you can commit a certain amount to somebody, but it's not necessarily, just because you can commit at one level does not mean that you're ready to commit at that next level.
Right.
And that always goes back to that thing that we always talk about, is communication. Mm-hmm. And to know that if you're with somebody, that they can commit to you, but if they're not talking about committing to a marriage, and that's what you're looking for, and that's the level of commitment that you want to have, and they're not matching your level of commitment, then that might be something that you need to evaluate, because maybe you're committing to the wrong thing.
Yeah. And you're gonna be real sad. You're gonna be real sad when that time comes. You ready for everything to be, you know, situated, and they not committed.
Yeah.
That's just the bottom line.
Have you ever, do you feel like you ever dated someone that had commitment issues themselves?
Yes.
What was that situation like?
Next question.
What was that situation like? That's the next question.
So I would say, okay, like I said, I recognize things generally from a distance. Like it didn't really matter. So I see things as they come to me pretty much. And in this situation, it's like I could see that, you know, the idea that she had committed, she wanted to be in a relationship, and the relationship she was in with me, she enjoyed. However, there wasn't really, you know, much commitment on her side. Like she didn't want to really commit. And she made that clear by, you know, the emojis when you send text messages. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the whole we'll see, possibly, you know, those things. I know those things because, see, me personally, like if you ask me, hey, you know, maybe, you know, hey, I'm not fully gonna commit. But yeah, that's the thing she did. And then I noticed, you know, she still, you know, has some unresolved issues with her ex. And, you know, those issues that I could foresee, you know, she definitely did not see those things, and then she ended up back with her ex. She ended up not with her ex.
So it's like she had one foot out the door, and she was committed to you as long as another better situation didn't come along. Or you
exactly, and that was the thing that I was saying. You know, and in the situation, like I said, the example I use with my barber, that's business. You know, particularly, that's all business, right? No personal in there. But when you have a person that does you like that, that's personal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, you know, if you're leaving someone because this next person is convenient, that is that is kind of, what's the word? Toxic.
Yeah, it's definitely toxic. And
there's terrible commitment there. That's like terrible.
That doesn't feel like commitment. That is something, it's like a temporary, it's almost like you're a holder, Like you're a holder, you're a
placeholder.
Placeholder, that's the word I'm looking for, yeah.
Yeah, essentially. But I didn't even see it that way because like I said, if I'm apprehensive about committing to you, then there's probably a reason why neither one of us should be making any type of commitments like this to each other.
Yeah.
So I'm not even mad about it. Like any time, like any of those, I'm not mad about them because, hindsight being 2020, if I look at the whole picture, I noticed all of the bad things that were happening. I noticed all of the issues, whether it was, commitment. We talked about those issues, me and you personally. Like,
yeah.
You can corroborate that story. Like, everything that happened, I already had like foreshadowed the idea. Like, I foreshadowed the thought. I talked about it, and then it happened, and I'm just like, man, dang. like dang, man. Like, what did I do? Like, how did I get myself here? So. Yeah, those situations they end kind of strange, but I mean it's important. Hey, if you're gonna keep those things up, communicate.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with you. I feel like the situation that I was in with someone who wasn't necessarily as committed to me was a little bit different, and I think that they were committed to being in a relationship with me, but I don't think they were committed to learning me as an individual in a way that I was committed to learning them as an individual, which you should when you're in a relationship.
That should be like your main goal is to figure out that person because, I mean, I think fun things are fun. Everything, all of the outside things are fun, but those are the things you'll see automatically. Like you need to get into that person, get into their mind, figure out what makes them tick.
You need to get to know them.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that I was with someone who didn't get to know me the way that they should have gotten to know me in a relationship. And I feel like that is like the number one goal because having fun, you can have fun with pretty much anybody. And if it's just about fun, 100%. Then, that's what it's going to be. But if you're looking to actually build a life for somebody, you really need to get to know that individual. And I feel like the way that I was getting treated by that individual was based off of the other men that she had dated, the other men that had been in her life. And she was treating me like I was one of them. But I was so far from being one of those guys that she really didn't get to see me for me. So she never treated me like I was me. She treated me like I was just another dude.
Yeah. She kept using her past as an excuse.
Yeah, I mean, and it wasn't even something that was always readily apparent, but
that's so annoying.
The thing is when you hear somebody tell a story about people and they tell you enough of these stories, you start to see a pattern, and it's like you did a lot of people that are similar. And right. I am not like any of those people, but you're treating me like I am one of them people, and it's not fair for me. And I'm committed to you, and I've committed to getting to know you and everything about you, but you haven't committed to getting to know me. And I think that's like going back to my situation now. I think that's one of the most beautiful things. We have both been so committed and getting to know every aspect of each other, the good and the bad. And I feel like after dating her for a couple months, I feel like she knew me more than some of the women that I had dated for, months, a whole bunch of months. So
wait, Richard. You realize what you just said?
Yes.
I feel like she knew me enough in the couple of months that we dated, longer than the other people who knew me in more months.
No, I said, so I feel like in the 2 months when we initially started dating that she had known me more than women that I had dated for 6 and 7 months.
You ain't say that before, but okay, we're going to keep it moving. Your timelines are a little wonky. You be dating a lot of women though. You were dating a lot of women.
No, I wasn't. Well,
you was getting kind of caught up in the sauce.
What's a lot? Like, I don't think it was a lot.
I mean, if you talking about like multiples, like I can think of like 2 to 3. Like that time we went to wait a minute. The time we went to Halloween. He was dressed as Django.
Man, I was the Beast from Beauty and the Beast. First of all, Richard. I was not Django.
Richard, you were Django, and everybody knew it. And then you kept poking me because you was mad. You kept poking me. I had bruises for days. Anywho, that was one of your dates that went Ari. We'll say you were really committed in that relationship. But I would say
that person was not committed in that relationship.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah. Like that's an interesting example.
Yeah.
When you talk about like your growth now, your maturity to where you are now, and your experiences have brought you like so far. Because that situation, I'll just throw out a couple of funny details that I've saved in my memory bank for entertainment.
Oh only, Lord!
Right, the part you guys were supposed to dress up as the same thing,
and that person did not dress up.
Hold on, cuz let me finish. So she, the story is hilarious. Yeah. And y'all dressing up, and then Richard's telling me the whole time. He's like, "Yeah, man." I'm like, "So what are you guys gonna do? Because we're gonna go to this party." Richard's like, "Yeah, man, we're gonna all dress up, and she's gonna be this, and I'm gonna be this." I'm like, "Cool, that's what's up, man. This is gonna be awesome." So, time comes, he gets there. First of all, I didn't know where Richard was. And then she gets there. She dressed up like a race car driver, like totally opposite. But Richard had committed. And she wasn't ready for that commitment.
No, that's not what she was looking for.
That's hilarious, bro.
That's what I was looking for. We weren't looking for the same thing. What did you do with
that costume?
That's in my closet.
Can you post it online? Can you can you put it on and just post it online so everybody can see what I was saying? Nah. That's pretty cool. You should use that in your other podcasts.
Yeah.
Like if you do like a slavery thing, and you can,
you're just talking about it. It was an ascot. It was an ascot.
I'm sorry, man. That's it. It was it. No, it was a lot. It was a lot.
But it's people that I wish that I committed to at certain levels that I committed to on levels that one never should have been at that level. I can think of women that I, ended up dating that I wish we had to just stay friends because the friendship was really dope and we both could commit to being friends. But when we crossed that line, to dating, it changed the whole dynamic and it just wasn't what it needed to be.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a situation for it.
Yeah, you didn't have that right communication foundation.
They had that right communication and, a lot of times it's not that... You can be compatible with a person of the opposite sex and have an attraction, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you should act on that attraction.
Oh, yeah, or you're supposed to be with them. Like, that doesn't mean that at all.
But no, I mean, so just the thing that I learned from all those situations, and I'm grateful that I can take lessons from those situations because everything that we talk about is stuff that we've been through. And being through enough situations, like, where maybe the commitment issues were different. Maybe somebody wasn't ready to commit or maybe somebody committed too fast. Whatever the situation is, I'm glad that I am at the age and the maturity level to where I can look back at those situations and look at all the lessons that I've learned from those situations and see how I would do things differently. And I don't know if I would want to go back and change any of those situations because all of the situations, the good and bad, has made me who I am today. And I'm really happy with who I am and where I am.
Absolutely. I mean, that's why that's why I gave that example of that whole, we'll call it the Halloween incident.
The Django Unchained.
We'll call it the Django Unchained Halloween incident. When I use that, I mean, from that particular situation, man, you've come an extremely far way. But I think one of the things you've taken from all of those situationships is communication. You've learned to definitely communicate the things that you want early on into that relationship, because in most relationships you don't have to communicate those things because hey, they're short term, but you recognize, hey, I want this long term. I need to make sure you're okay with this before we get any further before I commit.
I mean, the other thing too is like having communication, because in that situation it was communication too. I think just believing what people say and the actions that they show you. Like I was still committing to something that somebody didn't want to commit to me in a way that I wanted to commit to them. And I still tried to commit. Like I'm still trying to commit to somebody saying that they don't want to commit to a situation.
I still can't believe she showed up as a race car driver though. Like that was incredible, because I was like literally just at your house. You was like, yeah, she gotta, she gonna come over, she gonna put this, we ordered these costumes.
Man, I didn't see that costume until that day.
Dog,
I saw that costume
hilarious.
like right before she came over.
This dude's like dressing up. Beauty and the Beast.
Had the Peebo Bryson bumping in the background.
He was Peebo Bryson as a Beauty and the Beast. She come in. Like, what are you? Like, what the hell are you?
Like, we're not a unit.
I'm a race car driver. Like, what? Hold on. This ain't it.
But it made
That's
total
hilarious.
sense, though. And it's funny. And I'm just so happy that I don't look at situations the same way. And
right.
Like, if that hadn't happened, I might be still trying to commit to stuff that didn't, one, like garner my commitment, or two, even want my commitment.
I just keep having flashbacks, man. Just looking at your face. It was just like it was defeat.
Funny.
It was like a look of defeat, bro. It was just like I
don't
thought
know.
she was gonna.
I'm not gonna entertain this story much more, but the last part I will say, it was hilarious though, because that costume could not have been more opposite.
Dog, yes, that's what I said. It's like you would not accept that defeat though, because it was just like, yeah, she was supposed to, but I was like, that's not bail, cause that's not bail at all.
That wasn't bail, no.
Dog.
Yeah. Well,
thank you for that, Richard.
You're welcome.
It's nestled. I'm gonna place that back into my mind for future references.
You just keep that there whenever you want to laugh, huh?
110%.
That's just, it's odd because that's something I hadn't thought about in a very long time. Thank you.
I think about it all the time, man. I think it, dude, because that costume was outrageous, bro. Like I could believe it. I mean, she was hot. She was dressed up in her little thing, but she was not Belle from the Beauty and the Beast, bro.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening. To be a part of the conversation, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Rick and Namon. Please be sure to rate and subscribe to the show on your favorite podcasting app.
Yeah.
Blue.
What up, though?
Where can they find you?
You can find me on all your social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and I am the DJ Blue. Yeah. How was that? Was that a lot of energy?
Yeah.
Okay, let me do it again.
It sounded like a PlayStation 2 game where like Streets or something like that. Like he was introing a basketball player.
All right, real quick. Here we go. And now you can find me on all your greatest platforms: Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I am the DJ Blue. How was that?
It was a little bit more Grand Theft Auto. Like
whatever.
No, it's
man.
there. You there. And you can find me at Dodsism, and that's DODDSISM.
You can find him at Dodsism. D-O. Can you spell the rest of it?
And also, you can listen to my other podcast, Still Talking Black, on all of your podcasting platforms. But until next time, boys and girls, remember,
there's always a mother flipping next time.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Relationship Talks with Rick and Namon is a Crown Culture Media LLC production. It is produced by me, Richard Dodds, and our theme music is by the DJ Blue.